to computer. Welcome everyone to July's S&S Book Club meeting. First, in housekeeping, don't forget that participation is appreciated but not mandatory for any of these meetings. We are also adults who say adult things that might not be safe for children, so be mindful of your surroundings. Meetings are also recorded and added to YouTube for anyone who has to miss a meeting but still wants to listen to what was discussed. Next on the list, September's theme will be back to basics. Thus, we are going to be reading one of the classic romances that your English teacher would be proud of. I know I've only read Pride and Prejudice, so let's dive into something way before our time in another age. If you have a book in mind, please add them to books we want to read under the S&S book page, book club app. Next August meeting will be on August 19th at 6 Central. Starting this summer, Wednesdays work best for people to attend meetings, so we want to work with them and their busy schedules. So until further notice, all meetings will be on the third Wednesdays of each month. And lastly, if you are enjoying this club and would like your family and friends to join, we would love to have them. We are discussing Kristin Hannah, The Great Alone. So what did everybody think?
I loved it, but to me, it was even heavier than the other Kristen Hannah books that I had read. And I had read The Nightingale and The Women. And those books are really serious topics too, but I don't know why this one just hit so much harder. It just felt heavier, darker, but I mean, I stand by she's one of the great writers of I think our time. So I really enjoyed this book.
She does write really hard-hitting moments, and because it is historical fiction,
Hmm.
the books that she does write, and they are emotional, and they definitely make you think about things that you don't regularly think about, especially in this day and age. And I love that about her writing style. And I thought,
This is yeah.
go ahead.
This is my second time reading the book, but it was like probably 4 or 5 years ago I read it, and I knew it was like, so emotionally heavy back then. And then I was excited to reread it again. Through like knew it was coming, but I think I appreciated it more this time around. It was She's a phenomenal writer, and I love her so much. But she, she brings in some dark moments, and you have to kind of live it through that character's eyes, which is it's a tough one sometimes.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I love the book. It was hard to know, but I think it's hard to know this child is experiencing watching the abuse
Mhm.
because we know in real life that does actually happen. Um, but I love that the mom finally she stood up. It was like, you're not going to start on our child,
Yeah.
so but I don't know. I it had a lot of darkness. It was hard. I don't think I'm near strong enough to go and live in Alaska. I hate being that cold. And I think I couldn't handle that many hours of darkness every day. But it was a great read. Yeah, I enjoyed it.
Good. Good, good, good. Jeannie, did you actually finish it?
I
Yes.
didn't. Oh,
Oh, okay. I thought you were
talking
talking
to
to me.
me.
No,
Yeah.
no, no. I know you got this.
Yeah, no, I didn't. It was really just too heavy for me to get through the whole thing. But I love how descriptive she was about the environment. I think that I like the way that she wrote, and it was so poetic and romantic. The way that she made Alaska like its own character. Like Alaska's a character in the book. Like I love
Yeah.
how she portrays like the beauty and the danger and the balance between, and I really liked that part of it. I cheated and did get to know, did read like all the plot and like what happens. I was like, holy twist, like that's a lot. But I enjoyed what I read. It was just like really emotional for me to pick up at the end of the night. So,
My
um,
coworker asked me how like ratings of this book, and Jenny, what you said, it it stuck with me about all the twists because I was like, okay, it started out at a 5 and then it went to a -10 and then it landed at a 4 and she was like a -10 and I was like, girl, it was real dark there for a minute.
It was. It was. I had to text Christine when she was asking me about it. I was just like, is this and this going to happen? She's like, maybe. I was like, okay. It's like, I can't tell you anything. And I'm over here worrying because, like, especially, hello, darling.
Hi, sorry. I was leaving the back to school bash and they were doing free haircuts and free backpacks and free snow cones. And so, yeah, but I'm here. So sorry for the delay.
You are fine.
Hi,
Uh,
sis.
did
Hi.
you like the book?
Oh, I loved it. I hated it at page 500, but then I was committed and but absolutely love it. It was probably one of my favorites that we've read.
Yeah.
Huh?
Good. Good,
It
good,
was
good.
very refreshing to be in Alaska. Right now, I am melting.
Yes. The what juxtaposition between scorching hot actually at home and uh and just this cold wilderness in your ears or on
Oh,
your eyes.
I'm telling you, it was wonderful. It was wonderful. I loved it.
Good. All right. So do you think that the world feels dangerous today? Do you think that there's unrest and troubles from the 70s that are relevant today?
It felt like prophetic.
All
And like
right.
we still have some of those same concerns today. Like we can look back on some of it and say, well, that didn't happen. Like I could see how, but it also, in a weird way, that same thing almost gives you hope today. It's like, okay, then right after the Vietnam War, they were terrified and they were having a lot of the same anxieties that some parts of society have today. And look, like they made it through. It didn't turn out that way. And so part of me wants to be like, it's all gonna be fine. It's gonna be okay.
Yeah. Um, oh, absolutely. Like, I think I was telling Angela, it's like that, or it was either Angela or Catherine. And I was telling them, it's just like I'm like, there's people that still build shelters. Like, oh, there's going to be the electronic field's going to go down. Or we're going to have problems with China. And and so there are people that expect the end of the world. And even on the realm of not even Crazy Clyde, either way, and not even like them, it's more like there's abuse today. And luckily nowadays, like you you hope that you can get out of a situation without having to go through extreme measures, especially like in the end of this book, where you have to kind of run away, like you have to kill them and you have to hide the body and commit another felony. It's like hopefully there are measures to help with that, but abuse still happens. So that is a danger that is prevalent in today's world, and you can hear all about that if you look on like any true crime podcast or like if you look at the statistics of
And wasn't
of
it interesting, Katie, how he was always worried about all of these outside threats and all these conspiracies when he was actually the real danger?
yeah,
That's
yeah.
a good point.
uh
Within your own four walls.
mhm. And especially, I think you can totally see that. I'm like, you were built up to it throughout the story. Like as the reader, you are able to see certain things, but especially when at the end and he starts building the walls around his house, and it's like, are you trying to keep people out or are you trying to keep people in? And just the suffocation that our female main character is going through, like internally, and she's feeling like she is kind of being forced into a cage more
Like a
so than
prisoner in
she's
a
already been living her whole life as forced into a cage as someone who has to walk on eggshells all the time, as someone who has to lie for her family all the time, so people don't think that her dad's crazy or to
It made
a way
me
to like protect herself.
it made me really dislike her mom as a character. Like, there were so many times where, even all the way through to the end, where she was like, um, it was like almost a semblance of her trying to finally step up and protect Lenny, but all the way through to where she started to be like, I can do this myself. Like, you don't have to be involved. And then she was like, okay, we're going to do this. If you want to do this, we're going to do it. And after the fact, she was like, oh no, we can't stay here. Like, I thought you realized that. I'm like, come on, person. Like, this is your 18-year-old daughter. Like, you didn't have this conversation. You didn't say, okay, if we do this, do you realize, like, we can't stay here, we can't come back, like, this is what that means. And it just, I really did not appreciate her mom as a character a lot of the way through, even all the way to that point at the end. Like, you can't just expect her to know that, like, oh, I thought you knew this is how this was going to go if we did this. No, she's 18.
Right.
Yeah.
Her mom is I'm not gonna say interesting character. She is what's not strange, but like she's a difficult character just all and around. And she has her pros and she has like her cons. I'm like, she definitely has her cons, and she has this sense of, which I'm like, this is a question later on, is just how, I'm like, she not was raised to an extent, but like growing up, especially when Lainey was a child, she was just like, I'm gonna go do this. I'm gonna learn how to do this. And so I think she's kind of like blown in the wind and always think of like on a positive note. And especially with Ernst having to, like, he love bombs her at the end. It's like, oh, everything's fine. So she always has those rose tinted glasses on, and keeping that. And I'm like, and that's dangerous. But also at the same time, it's just like, it's not you. If you want to stay in this situation and always have these rose tinted glasses on yourself, that is fine. But you have another living being. You have your child there. And even if he doesn't abuse the child, that's like, those years, those growing years are so incredibly important for development of relationships, of personality. So it's like, regardless, that child's getting hurt, even though physically that's not the case.
And in a
But
lot of ways too, of course. Did any of you stop like at various points in your head and just like do the math? So like she had Lenny at what was like 16,
yeah,
something like that. And so then at this point, so when Lenny's 16, she's 32. So
yeah,
like, she's 30 when they first moved to Alaska. This mom with a 14-year-old is like 30 years old. And then so by the end, I'm like, okay, so how old? She was like 35 years old. Like, it's just wild to me. Just 36, I guess. Um, but I was just constantly, I found myself like doing the math. Like, I mean, she was
I
a
never
kid
did
with
it.
it. She was a kid with a kid. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's why she probably put Lenny up there on like they were on the friend level instead of her being her actual mothering her.
mhm.
She just, she let her see too much and let her, um, she just had adult conversations with her. I mean, I just can't imagine all the responsibility that Lenny had taking care of animals. And I mean, I don't even like taking a fish off the hook, much less some of the stuff, this girl was out doing, and I don't know.
And she took care of her up until the very end, honestly,
Yeah. Yeah. She had to be an adult herself at a very young age.
Yeah,
And not
she,
even like
Absolutely.
the Alaska environment, but like in home as well. It's like both like getting care from all angles to grow up super fast and have all those responsibilities.
And you can tell that her formative years were so damaged at the very end when she heads back to Alaska with that letter, right? And was very clearly told, just do this. And yet how gullible she was, right? How easily she believed that. And just so it was such a mirroring effect of how you weren't taught to put your child first, and then you don't. I loved Tom Walker so much then.
Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely.
He got her out of that jam for sure.
Absolutely. Yes.
Absolutely. Because there are good men in the world, and I was glad that there was at least, a good man in the story. Not that Matthew wasn't, but he, so injured.
Wasn't it kind of a fun, like the plots running like parallel to one another when you think of all the strife that Ert had with Tom Walker, and then in the end, it was actually Tom Walker who saved his daughter.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I didn't love the cliffs, though. I was like, why is everybody falling off a cliff? I was like, it took me back to the last letter. I was so, anyway. Talk about cliffhanger, I was like,
Don't even get me started.
Never forget.
Hard for life.
Well, Alaska's dangerous. And I'm like, especially like if you think about the story, like she's running from her life. So if she just goes and everything is fine, then where's the story, Chantel?
and it goes back to something that they said early on. You in Alaska, you only get 2 mistakes. Do you know what I'm saying? You get 2 mistakes, and that stuck with me, and that was what I counted, Whitney. I didn't count her age or anything like that, but I kept thinking you only get 2 mistakes. What are those mistakes going to be? And I thought mistake one was that first time they left, right? And they flipped the car and yada, and Tom Walker, of course, comes to the rescue then. And then, of course, that second mistake, that second time you leave. And I thought about, on average, domestic violence victims leave 7 times, right? You often say, why did they go back? Oh, I knew she was going to go back, right?
Right.
Knew she was going to go back and knew she was going to go back both times. I just hated it that, Matthew tried so hard, but it made me think, well, what was his second mistake? And I thought about his mom, right? So that was kind of his first mistake that didn't really cost him, but not his own, So I don't know. I kept thinking about the twos. I was like, I know you only get 2 mistakes.
Well, since she returned to Alaska, I guess she won't make any more mistakes. She better
She
not.
better not.
She better not.
Well, she's with the Walkers now, so it's fine. Now she gets to see what a real family's like.
Absolutely. But it was beautiful. I mean, the little coves and the boats, like there's so much beauty in it. The eagles. I mean, I just loved being present there. I think that scenery.
Mm-hmm.
There's no way this one doesn't get turned into like a Netflix movie or something, right?
It's supposed to be coming
It
in
is.
2027. Yeah.
Yeah, there's no way. It's built for it.
Yeah.
I'm making that
Glad
definitely
to know
holds up.
that. I'm glad to know that. I hadn't heard that it was going to be turned into a movie.
Yeah, I saw the Instagram post and I think I sent it to our family chat. I need to share it. But yeah, it's coming to theaters in 2027. I forget who's picked it up. I don't know if it was Reese or, one of them.
Yeah.
Not that me and Reese Witherspoon are. That's good taste.
But it definitely kind of shows kind of what you were saying earlier in regards of the writing and the description of the land. Alaska is itself is its own character. She has her beautiful moments, and she's like the ocean. She can be pretty, but she can also be super deadly.
Absolutely.
And that's just wilderness in general. Like beautiful, but at what cost? At what cost do you want to go and see it? So, would y'all ever go to Alaska after reading this book?
On a
Not
cruise.
to live. Yeah, yeah, Chris.
Yeah.
My sister-in-law still lives in Alaska, and I don't think she ever plans to leave. So God willing, we will definitely be back to Alaska several times. So
Would y'all want to go to Alaska in the winter?
Mm.
Mm,
No.
no.
I think it'll
Not if
either
it's
be too
dark. It's
cold.
dark in the winter, right? Or is it
Yes,
dark in the summer?
it's
Yeah,
dark
dark
in
in
the
the
Not
winter.
winter.
for winter.
Yes, since we are on the northern hemisphere, um, it is dark in the winter, but it's completely light in the winter in the southern hemisphere.
I'd love to see Large Marge. I want to see who. I mean, I think I could, if I could like hang out with her and maybe then. But I'd rather be there in the summer, like when the days are till like 10. I think I'd prefer that.
Yes.
But it's too much work in the summer, so I don't know. Maybe I'd rather the winter. I don't know.
I'm like, if you're on a cruise, then you're not working. But I'm like, you still have, I mean, when we went on the cruise, it was sunny up until what, 10 p.m. So, and then it was back to sunny at like 2 o'clock in the morning. So you
It
definitely
never
need your
got like
curtains.
pitch black. It was like a deep purple. I see you
Yeah.
talked about in the book. It's just never black. Really beautiful.
And so it definitely kind of messes up your sleep schedule to an extent if you're not on that if you're not always in that environment. So, but then I'm like in the winter, it's dark a lot. And so how would y'all like it being dark that often? I know a lot of people have like they have what the like the winter blues, like oh like
You know,
depression to an extent if it gets so dark. Do y'all think that you are able to do that? It's like it gets dark early here, but it's not as noticeable.
I don't even like it here, so I know I wouldn't like it there. My sister-in-law Emily has literally like a sun lamp that
yeah.
she uses at her office. So like she'll sit at her desk and turn on her little sun lamp. Uh, because other than that, I mean, she can squeak like 15 minutes of daylight if she goes outside at like 2 or 3 o'clock from work. If she like runs out of the building, she can like see the sun for like 15 minutes.
Yeah.
So
Crazy. Who was your favorite character?
I'm with Chantel, Large Marge, all the way.
I really loved her.
Amazing.
I loved
She was
her a
like
lot too.
fairy godmother, guardian angel, and I loved her past. You know what I mean? Like if I was gonna read like a sequel or not a sequel, but you know what I mean, like one of those. Um,
Spinoff?
yeah,
Her
how
origin
did she
story.
get the how? Yeah, her origin story. Yes, I mean, how did she get there? I mean, badass lawyer, and then even that full circle moment of her back in the courtroom
Mhm.
defending Lenny. I don't know. I think she really embodied the community there too, and I don't know. And then I loved, I hate to say I loved, but I loved the story of her sister too. So she just could
Mhm.
relate to the whole thing. So if, of course, Lenny being the main character, loved Lenny, but if I had to pick like a secondary character, it was Large Marge for sure.
Oh, I
Yeah, I
definitely
really
love
like
Large March more than I love Lenny. And I love Mr. Walker.
yes,
Like those two are top tier. And
Large Marge and Mr. Walker for the fact of I think we see a lot that if there are two adults that aren't getting along, that it's more like right? Where parents allow that to spill over into their lives of their kids. And not one time did we see that with Mr. Walker. He like the whole time was able to separate out the feud between the adults and then like their kids and realize like this we shouldn't let like this shouldn't impact their friendship. Like Lenny's always welcome at our home, like I'm always going to look after her and take care of her. And so I liked him a lot for that reason too.
Mhm.
Yeah.
In the hospital, Lenny absolutely like beating herself up about Matthew's like trauma and everything. And he's like, no, it's like Tom Walker was like, no, it's you cannot blame yourself at all for this. Alaska's Alaska. So things like this happen. But he was never mad at anyone. And that's has to be so hard to go through as a father.
Well, and even Matthew's sister didn't
Yes,
blame
yeah,
Lenny. Like,
I loved her.
she was so sweet too.
Yeah, yeah. Like
And
the few
even when
times that we
Geneva,
saw her, I liked her a lot.
yeah, and even with Geneva, and I really liked her at the beginning too. I loved when they were meeting everybody, but I feel like Matthew felt like Tom blamed him for Geneva, but but I never got that impression. I think it's just a young boy that just assumed that that's how he felt, but he still so looked after his son, and I don't know. I loved their letters. I loved a lot of that story, that middle plot before he fell down the crevice.
I definitely think that Matthew was an unreliable narrator. Being a child, thinking this was my fault, I was the first one there. This is my fault. I'm the reason that she's dead. And I am guilty of this in my head, and I have the depression with that. Thus, everybody is upset with me. So I don't think that Tom was upset with him at all. Like, does the situation suck? Absolutely. But
Yeah,
it's
but he was what,
not his
13 years old?
yeah,
Yeah, he
like
was
14-ish.
or 12 or 13. So
Now, I
like
did not like it when he pushed Lenny, and that was a big red flag for me. I mean, I know he was dealing with his grief and stuff, but I was like, oh, buddy, didn't like that.
Yeah.
I don't like it, but I understand in the realm of he was going through problems and he was a 13-year-old, 12-year-old boy
Right.
who I don't like he needed counseling and he got counseling. He needed to take a step back. I don't think like we all do things terrible when we were children. Um,
Absolutely.
that if it was an adult situation, it would be different. And that would be like major red flags. But as a kid hurting such big feelings, that is something that I'm like they're not able to understand because their frontal cortex isn't there yet. Like they're not understanding such big feelings. And I think
I
that
think he was projecting, like the whole time. He was projecting everything he was feeling inside onto everyone, onto his dad, thinking his dad blamed him, onto Lenny, like all of it. He was just a classic case of projection.
Mhm.
And it was a good way for the author to emote like a part I got almost halfway through the book, so the part where he pushed her though, it got my attention, it made my heart like in my throat. So like it's one of those moments of the book where you're like, oh, like the author's really got your attention and like really got you into the story. So it was another way for her to just like grab the attention too. But like Katie said, like I didn't really think that much of it, but at first I was like, oh no, what if she's dating a smaller version of her dad or
Yeah,
something?
right, because abuse, usually that's what you know, and the
I
cycle,
know.
and I
So
thought, oh, no.
I was like, no, 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 no. Maybe I can't finish this book, but turned out okay. But
I am glad that they did put in there that, he went to live with an aunt and uncle so he could be near his sister. The sister helped him through it. And they did make a point of saying that he got therapy while
yes.
being there. So, because a lot of times people don't believe in therapy. They don't even want to discuss it. So I'm glad that she added that in the book.
Especially that
Absolutely.
time period, that early.
Oh yeah, back then it wasn't near as popular as it is now, but
Well, this was right after Vietnam War. I'm like, and the
Right.
woman literally, I mean, that was the Vietnam War, and they're like, hey, there's this new thing called PTSD that we're talking about. And even the beginning of the book, and it's like, oh, this is a new thing called PTSD. And it's like, oh, cool. We're learning what PTSD is and how it
Did
affects
you
people.
did anyone else listen to or read the acknowledgments at the end of the book?
Yeah, yes.
She talked about in her like thank yous. Um, she said, at this time, like now we know like what that is. We know and we know how to deal with it. And now, this, not that it doesn't happen, but now there's a much better support system and a much better understanding of these problems to help veterans deal with not only that, but to also help people deal with Alaska and the dark and blah, blah, blah. Like there's so many different avenues and ways to deal with it. But she talked about like then, like they really didn't know. Like they really did not know that like what he had was true PTSD to the extent that he had it. It was,
Or shell shock back then, right?
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It was just like he was just broken.
Yeah.
Hi, Alan, by the way.
Yes. Hi, Alan. Welcome.
Hey, sorry I'm late.
So you're fine. With earned, do you think he, where is it? Where is my question that I had this? So basically, do you think he was a bad person before, even like before Alaska or before the war?
I say yes, but that's only because like going through when you're in domestic violence group therapy, like they will tell you there are plenty of alcoholics. Not every alcoholic beats their wife, right?
Right.
So at the end of the day, there's something inside of you that we can't like blame whatever. I'm sure there are plenty of men that have PTSD from the war. They do not beat their wives. So yes, I think he was probably always a bad man and who knocks up 16-year-old girls too. So I'm like, no, he's bad news bears to me.
Yeah. It was the yeah, like do you think so Cora keeps on telling Lenny like that aren't changed. Like the war changed him. Coming home, being a POW changed him. And so was he bad before? Was it the effects of PTSD that made him violent? Or or was it like these situations kind of collide into a perfect storm? Um, do I like
I think it gave her an excuse. I think she tried to make excuse for him.
mhm.
I think that's a really good point and a good possibility. And I also don't think, I think we can infer and we can guess based on like our own knowledge, but I don't think we have enough information to know. I think, we're just taking the mom's word for it, essentially, from, I mean, he was gone for 8 years. So that also, your brain can kind of start to rearrange and shuffle memories, right? To after 8 years of someone being gone and being a prisoner of war, you probably really cling on to just like the best parts and kind of start to forget like the bad stuff or those red flags. You're just so grateful to have them back.
Right. With the rose tinted glasses still.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm. Um,
I think the time that he did, being a POW definitely changed him. I don't know, like a lot though. There was a scene. I know that the mom talks about obviously the past a lot. Like he was better, blah blah. But then wasn't like she looking back at like scrapbook of photos of like the wedding and was
Mm-hmm.
like he looked like a different man before, or like was it something like his eyes? I don't know. It's been a couple weeks since I've read the books, but like he looked different, and like then after the war, he completely looked like a new person. So I don't know. Going through it, I had the hope that he was a good person before.
mhm.
That's me.
I
I hope so.
also, I mean, possibly, but also at the beginning when Cora was like, well, when Lenny was talking about Cora saying in regards of her, like her mom can't essentially talk or being around other men or aren't was going to be upset. And Ernst always thought that Cora would cheat on him, essentially. So I think he might have always had a negative approach to his wife being beautiful. And Cora's family was not a fan of her the whole time. And I mean, and that could be because she was 16 and pregnant. Um, that could,
Inadequacy. He had like a fear of or a feeling of inadequacy, and I think that can bleed over into some of those problems that you're talking about. He didn't have confidence. Like she came from wealth, at least to a degree. She was young and beautiful.
mhm.
Like And so his own insecurities, I think, brought out the worst in him instead of, someone who can bring out the best in you.
I mean, she gave up what could have been a very privileged life to go live in Alaska and freeze her buns off. I mean, she gave up everything for him, but it still wasn't enough. He still had that jealousy. So that's what made me kind of feel like I feel like that he didn't just all of a sudden start being a jealous person. He probably had always been a jealous person.
Especially the fact that she didn't have anything to do with her parents, like their whole relationship, right? And to me, I'm like, that's one of the, when you think about it's very well written as far as following very close to typical domestic violence, patterns. Separate you from your family, you don't have any finances, you know what I'm saying? Like she was pretty much,
Yeah.
it was classic. It was textbook.
Why
And
do
then
you
the alcohol made it worse,
Oh,
I think
absolutely.
her pride probably was a piece of that too. Um, you know, I'm sure that she did have feelings for him, but I think also, especially if you go back to she was 16 at the time that she got pregnant with Lenny, you want to be at that age, especially like you want to be right. Like you don't want your parents to be right. You don't want to admit that you were wrong. And so I think for a long time, it did take her a whole lot of courage to go back and ask her parents for money before they went to Alaska. But she did that in secret too. She didn't feel like she could tell Ert about that. So you slowly start to kind of see her laying pieces of that pride down as you move through the book. But I think, we all have that a little stubborn pride in us. And she didn't want to be wrong about that. She didn't want her parents to have been right about him all along.
And she truly did love him. I mean, most people truly do love their abusers,
Mm-hmm. That's even what I don't remember her name. The store owner said, just like my sister loved him like until he killed her, and like always go back. So with Cora staying with Ernst, like why do you think she stayed? Was it love, fear? Um, and why do you think that women or vice versa, where why do you think people stay with an abusive partner?
Familiar. Even though it's abuse, sometimes that fear of building a new life that you don't know,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of times you stay because you're familiar with it.
I think women in particularly can end up dependent on a partner. Like if even in today's society, probably a different degree than the time that the book was written in, but now you hear about women who like they don't have their own bank account in their own name. They don't have a credit card that's in their name. So even if they get to a point where they think they're ready to leave and they want to leave, they don't have any credit. They haven't worked in years because they've been a stay-at-home mom or a stay-at-home wife. They have nothing. Their credit is this. Like
Right.
they don't have a credit card in their name. They can't. There's no bank account. Like so for her, I think it's that on an entirely different scale. Like if you could think about what that situation for her might have been like in a time where people don't believe the woman. There is no help for someone who's in an abusive relationship. It's same story, same plot, different story to get there. I don't know.
And whenever it's bad, it's really bad. But when it's good, it's it's really good. And so it all is like that gaslighting and that love bombing. But that love, they felt like they really had something special. Like he just loves her so much. Like, right, we always heard they just loves her so much. And so imagine to feel so special, right? Nobody is loved the way she is, right? Nobody. Yeah.
That's exactly my point. I was going to say she stayed for the ups and because of the ups.
Yeah.
And that's why a lot of people I know stay as well, or stayed in the past. It's because when it's good, it's really, really good. And when it's
And they
bad,
had a baby too,
I
you know?
know. Yeah, and then when it's bad, it's going to get good again. You just have to be strong enough to get to the good again and just be a good, faithful partner. You just kind of put on that front. But I do think it was the ups. Like, I mean, he threw himself on the ground at one point in front of her, and then like she got out of the hospital, was barely, treating her like fragile, like she was going to break, and like, dude, you broke her.
Yeah, right.
But definitely think that's a great point. It's like the ups kept her around.
And women usually will do anything to keep their family together.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Mhm.
Oh, all right. Um, so we kind of talked about this earlier, but let's dive a little bit deeper. Lainey is shaped by the complexity of her parents' toxic relationship. How does she explain her life before she sees the truth of the violence? And as it is common in the case of abusive families, Lenny, the child, takes the role as the caregiver. So, how did it mold Lenny's character, um, like this need to keep the ugly truth of her family secret?
I think she had a lot of discernment for a kid her age. Like to realize I need to have a friend that I can confide in and I can confide a lot of things, but that's not it. And here's why that's not it. Like she had a lot of discernment. And I think that just when you have to grow up fast, I think sometimes like those street smarts, those common sense things they're just kind of drilled into you.
All right. Um, I think so I'm like, especially in the beginning when it was just Lenny and Cora, he was off to war, and she was always like, it was my mom and me together all the time. Like we dealt with his um we dealt with his POW together. We dealt with all this stuff together. Um and so as like a caregiver, because Cora wasn't able to be a parent because of this relationship that she had with Earned, like she had to step up.
And I think
And
too, as an adult, she had an escape as well with her books, just like Cora had her cigarette.
yeah. Ooh, you got a drink. Um, oh yeah, absolutely. Like she did escape with her books a lot. And that was one of the things that she absolutely loved, and she kept with her books. She kept with her photography. She was able to still create art if she had the time. Um, and find joy in her life, especially when it's hard, when she's living this rough existence at this time. Especially in winter when the winter got bad. She still had all of that to keep her sane. Um, and to help her out if she needs a friend. I think her books was her friend, especially when Matthew wasn't there. And the fact that she had her letters, and that I think that helped her also escape and hoped that he would come back to an extent, or hope that he was fine. And it's like, I have a friend. I have this one person who um who's close to me. And especially like when you see earlier when she like before they went to Alaska, they're like, I don't have any friends. I was always the odd kid due to various circumstances. I didn't have the fashion of the school. So she was lonely. And because she was able to find somebody and find her books, she was able to come out a little bit and kind of feel safe in
And she
an
was
unsafe
also
situation.
allowed
Well, she was also allowed to make adult decisions. I
Mm.
mean, even from being able to decide that she was going to help get rid of the body, right? Usually, like you said, usually a mother's going to protect you, but she got to make that decision. I mean, she got to decide that she was going to, be intimate with Matthew. Like, she made a whole lot of adult decisions. She decided they were leaving, I mean, so I saw that quite a bit as well.
I think her parents taught her as much about the type of person and relationship that she didn't want to have as anything. And then maybe her books to a degree inspired her for like what she did strive for, because more than once she would mention like the friendship between Sam and Frodo in Lord of the
Yeah.
Rings. So I think like her parents were like, I know I don't want this. And this kind of sounds really cool to have this kind of friendship over here. And I think she just kind of figured it out on her own, really.
But she was borderline, I won't say, I hate to say toxic, but I think almost like the obsession that she did have with Matthew
Mm.
did a little bit mirror what she had seen with her parents, right? I mean, to think even 7 years later, she felt so guilty about not being there and not doing this. She was so
Mm.
young too, right? Like there was never, I should go off to college. I should be my own person. I'm going to, I mean, she didn't, in 7 years, it didn't seem like she dated or had a life. It was almost like this obsession with Matthew. She owed Matthew something, which I mean, I was glad everything. I'm for the sake of the story, right? I'm glad it all worked out with Matthew. But in my head, I'm like, was that really realistic? That she never did. I had expected her to move on and then be heartbroken that he ended up being okay. Like when he was mad, thinking that there was another guy, but it was actually I forget what her son's name was now. Oh, MJ. And
MJ.
whenever he said to like, "Mommy, can we play jail later?" Anyway, I love him too. I really liked his character too.
I something that stuck with me toward the end of the book was so she was about 14 when they moved to Alaska, and then when all of this tragedy, when it was at the -10 rating in this book, she was 18 or 17, I guess not even quite 18 yet, and she was talking to Matthew, or she was thinking back to when they first met, and she said back when we were just kids. And I'm like, that was really like, I mean, she saw and did a whole lot in 3.5, 4 years. And she probably did truly feel like an adult, to Chantel's point. I mean, she was making all those decisions. Why? I mean, you would consider yourself an adult if you're making all of those decisions at that age.
I mean, she also had to go and hunt the sheep on the mountain.
And
Like
eat the
when she
daggum heart. Yeah.
Well, yeah, but that was when she was
Yeah.
younger. But this was when Ernst wasn't there, when he was like off, and it was in winter, and she was
Yeah.
like,
Working on the
it
pipeline. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
but this was when she had she was just like, technically it's illegal for me to do this, but I have to cross the river. I got my snowmobile. I have to go kill this so I can feed
Mm-hmm.
my mom and I. Like I have to make the decision to go do this illegal activity, which I mean, yes, it's killing a sheep to provide for her family, but it was her doing it. It was her, not Cora. Cora wasn't out on the snowmobile using a gun. She was doing this.
I couldn't get used to them calling it a snow machine.
Yeah.
That's what they called it there, not a snowmobile, because
Yeah,
that's the only terminology I've ever heard is a snowmobile.
Mm-hmm.
I think
I
it's
thought
funny.
the bar was gross. Oh, I mean, I don't know. As far as other things that just stuck out for no reason, I'm like that halfway burnt down bar that everybody still liked and that old bartender. Those are the things that when we go see the movie, I just want to see who they're going to cast. I mean, and I'm like the one guy, oh my gosh, that Ernst drank with all the time. That old man was
Oh, yeah.
probably next to Ernst was my least favorite character. I just absolutely could not stand that man. And I'm just surprised that Thelma and nobody ever said anything until the very end, other than when he wanted to plant those landmines. I mean, they were just like, oh.
Well, after he died, finally his daughter was like, no more. We have children. We're not going to have all that business here. I was like, finally, somebody's getting some back because that guy.
What
Well,
was
it
it?
makes me
Was
think.
Crazy Earl? Is that what his name was?
Yeah. And it makes me think, what was Bo like? Like, what kind of man could Bo Harlan? Because at the beginning you're like, what a man that served his country, left all this land to earn. But now it makes me think, what kind of awful man was best friends with Ern, has a daddy like Crazy Earl? I mean, anyway, I don't know. I'm like
Good
he,
point. That is a good point.
yeah.
I think it's one of those like in a situation in your own life, you're just like, I have this crazy uncle, and I'm like, that he has the land for this little commune, but he's crazy, and there's nothing you can do about him. He'll just spout off like kind of talking out the side of his neck, like he's just drunk. He's just a drunk, crazy uncle that you
But he's
don't know what to do
harmless.
with, but he's mostly harmless. I'm like even Tom Walker said just like he was a good guy. Like we talked, and then the more he
Yeah.
got older, and the more he just drank and just got older and started like
Yeah.
he
And he
just
lost
talked
his
more.
son, absolutely, and
Yeah.
just kind of lost it. Yeah.
Mm.
Bye, everyone. I love you all.
Oh yeah, I'll
Thanks
come
for
and
the
see you in like
conversation.
an hour.
Safe
Bye.
flight.
Hey,
Hi,
Bye.
Chris.
All right. Um, would you say Lenny is a survivor?
Oh, yeah.
For sure.
and
Would
a
you say,
dreamer. Often survivors don't dream, but she also was a dreamer. I love that she kept that article from Matthew's grandparents or great grandparents. I absolutely loved those little details. So she was also a dreamer.
Mhm.
You know, and maybe it's just me because I'm a grandparent, but I kind of feel sorry for her grandma and grandpa that were there for her while she went through college. I'm sure they helped
Mhm.
with MJ. And then she's like, I'm going home. And she goes
Yeah,
back to Alaska, which I
yeah,
know that for the book, I mean, that's where her heart is in Alaska. But I still felt for those grandparents. Like their daughter left them a few times, then their daughter dies, and then, you know, the granddaughter takes the grandson and leaves. So it's just kind of, I don't know.
And
And it
they're
was that
old.
line. Well, and it was that line too where she said, "Thank you for loving MJ." And her grandma said, "And we love you too." You know what I mean? It's like when you're not
Right.
there for those formative years, I guess she didn't understand that they also felt connected to her.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was
Well,
just
mom would
thinking,
just
like,
take
he's,
off and not say goodbye. Like
right.
she just left all the time. So, I don't know. I just sort of felt for them.
yeah, I mean, that was, so she has found family, right? But that was blood family that really loved her.
Mhm.
And I think they're like in their 80s. And she was like, peace out.
yeah.
Like,
You're right.
you know,
Right.
they didn't
Yeah.
have, these are probably, they're the last years of their life and maybe some of their last living relatives too. You don't know. Like,
And she's probably their legacy. They only had the one daughter, so I
yeah.
mean, and they had so much too that they probably would have left her. Yeah, very
Yeah.
interesting. It's a good point, Angela.
Yeah. Oh, I see a kitty. Oh,
I'm doing a project that I need to get done by like 7. So he's my
no
secretary.
pressure.
Um, all right. So, do you think so? Cora let down Lenny some in her life, but how did she like? Do you think that she saved her still in some other aspects, or how do you think she saved her?
I fully expected Lenny to be the one to finally end her father's life. And when Cora did it, I was like,
I was shocked
Yeah.
too.
yeah.
Yeah.
I was fully expecting Art to kill Cora. Like that was what I asked Christine. I was just like, this was when it was getting rough, but it hadn't got what was it? Like this was before he had uh burned down the bar and stuff or like graffiti the bar, but I was just like, I feel like Arndt's going to kill Cora or Matthew. I was like, because that's the way the story kind of like was telling me it was leading to, which I'm glad he didn't. Thank goodness. But I was just like, statistically, it would make sense. Statistically, it would make sense that Arndt would have killed her. Um,
Well, he was getting more and more angry,
yeah, yeah.
I mean, my goodness, he was building a big fortress around them, to lock them in. And so, yeah, he was definitely becoming a little more unhinged.
Mhm.
So, yeah.
Yeah, he lost that job and then the just pieces kept stacking. And I will say when she said, not my Lenny, like that'll be one of those lines that I'm,
Yeah.
waiting for in the movie as well. But I was shocked that she finally did stand up. So I think literally, yes, she finally did save her. I'm like,
Mhm.
but then too, they had developed this bond that it was really sad when she ultimately ended up dying, from cancer. It was so heartbreaking too. So, and I don't know, a part of me is like that the fact that she didn't tell her to stay to begin with, I'm like, I don't know, not that
Yeah.
she could have, I know she felt like she couldn't raise her baby by herself, but like her mom said, she was 15 times the mom that her mom was. And so to me, I'm like, she continued to ruin her life even into adulthood, right? I'm like, she didn't get to go to college. She had to move to rainy Seattle. She had to have a name she didn't want. I mean, like just
Well, she
thing
went to
after
college in
thing.
Seattle.
Oh, yes, that's right. But
Yeah,
I don't know. I'm like, to me, she didn't have the life that she
That wasn't
wanted.
her. That wasn't Cora, though. That was because of the grandparents.
true,
Right.
Cora didn't do anything for that.
true,
Right.
true.
So I'm like, no, her mom gets on my nerves. She's despicable. She can't hold a candle to the mom in the last letter. I don't
Well,
like that.
no.
I mean, there's just so many like comparisons there. The military aspect and just like there's just so many.
Oh, Layla. Yeah. Um, I did love the not my Lenny. Like, I'm actually going to stand up, not for myself, but for my daughter in the end. Like, when it got physical, obviously, she was going through enough emotional abuse, that she should have stand up before, but didn't. But I think as soon as she was able to see physical evidence, she was like, no. But at that point, even Lenny was like, it's a little too late. Like she was like, I'm done with this. Well, no, this was earlier when but she was like when Lenny was cutting both of them off. It's like this is a little too late. You've yeed your last haul, essentially, in that regard, until he was angry again. And this
Couldn't
is
believe they fell asleep in the loft. I was like, but when the mom did grab the boots,
yeah.
I was like, but it didn't feel like a mom thing. It felt like something your big sister would have done. You know what I mean? Like, and
Also,
kind of had
yeah.
your back. I like, but I was upset with her when they did go. They finally left. They're up there at the campsite, and I'm like, finally. You know what I'm saying? Like, I understand that you love your mom, but girl, take care of yourself. I was waiting for some
Yeah.
steamy scenes, and next thing you know, they're headed back to go like get her or something. I'm like, isn't she not with Large Marge? I'm like, she can take care of herself. I mean, I understood to an extent, but then I was annoyed by that. I need some. I want to rewrite that part.
Oh my God.
You just stay with you, cute boyfriend.
Yeah. Yeah. All
Maybe in the
right.
movie they'll put some steamy stuff in there.
Oh yeah. But then at the same time, they're 17, 18 years old,
True.
technically 18, but if they're 17, I don't want to see sex scenes between children. Like,
I do agree. We did talk about that. Yeah, I do agree.
No, even in Twilight, just the look.
Yeah.
Sometimes they just look at each other.
yeah.
You
I
were
was like,
17, Katie. Did you not just look at someone and
oh,
go,
Don't get me wrong, I had sex when I was young, but that's beside the point though.
Yeah,
It's
that's a
I don't
no,
want to
no,
see
no,
it in
no.
my adult brain. I'm just like, it could happen. I just don't want to see it. Like when I'm reading a book, and so there's this book, and she was 15, and I'm like, in the book, they're writing descriptive like sex scenes. And I was like, I don't want to hear this. Your frontal
Yeah.
cortex isn't built yet. Like, and then they
Give
fast
them
forward and
18.
whatever. But I was just like, I rated that book like 1 to 2 stars. I was like, this is a terrible book. I understand that's technically a prequel, but I don't want to see it. I don't want to think about it.
Oh no. Well, I mean Matthew's beautiful blonde hair, I'm like, I was thinking about it. I was thinking
I get
about
it happens, obviously, but don't put it in my damn books. That's all I ask.
it.
All right. Does anybody have anything else to say with this?
No.
Okay. All right.
Can I give you the interjection that my husband made from the other room?
Yeah.
He said, "Okay, but an 18-year-old and a 500-year-old man's okay."
It's
Yeah.
fantasy, and in your head you're just like, that's not possible
It is.
because
I
it's
know.
not possible.
I
So
read
your
it
head like,
twice.
okay, this is fine.
18's legal.
18's illegal. Oh, bless him. All right. Thank you everyone for participating. Our next meeting will be on August 19th at 6 p.m. Central Time. We are discussing The Great Big Beautiful Life, not the great, just Great Big Beautiful Life by Emily Henry on Audible, Spotify, Print, and Libby. It's a popular book, so if you are going to use Libby, make sure you go ahead and put your hold in for that. And
Oh, I've
hope.
already got it. So if you got your hold in, you'll have to wait behind me.
Yeah, I was like, and just hope that you can make it. I know the one in Bowling Green was like 5 weeks. I don't know about the one in Scottsville. Or so just check your check your apps. But it's on Spotify, it's on Audible. You can obviously get it in print. Um, does does anybody have anything else to say? All right. And for anyone who had missed, September's theme is back to the basics. So we are doing a classic romance story. I said I've only read Pride and Prejudice. So pick something that just like this is a classic story that my English teacher would be really proud of me for reading to try to go kind of back and be like, what does uh what does romance look like in another time?
Gone with the
Um,
Wind.
yeah, we could read sure. We can read Gone
Casablanca.
with the
Very
Wind.
nice.
But
That's all I got.
like what are some classics that you really wanted to read but you just haven't done yet? So I want to see those. Go ahead and add those to the books I want to read. And that will be September's theme, school. Back to basics.
I love it.
All right. Yep. All right, then I will see y'all when I see y'all, and that will be on August 19th or earlier. All right, toodles.
Bye, guys. This was a fun
Bye.
one.
All right, take care.
Bye.